What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Hollywood Already Did It, your movie podcast for reboots, remakes, sequels, adaptations, stories that have been told time again, and why we keep doing it. As always, I am your host, Blake Schultz, and with me is Terrence Tatum.
Hello, everyone.
And it is still an adaptation. I like this one because it's a
It
little
is.
bit different for us because it is technically an adaptation of a video game. That video game is a newer video game that was released in 2023 and then ported to the Switch and PS5 and Xbox and everything else under the sun in 2024, and then got a movie adaptation in Exit 8, the Japanese movie distributed by Toho that has reached a brisk, not even like less than 1,000 screens, I think. It was actually
Yeah.
I wrote it down somewhere, 495 screens this weekend. If you don't know, and you probably don't, not that you should, it is a movie taking from the liminal spaces, from the concept of the backrooms, a lot from a game called Report for Duty. I'm Reporting for Duty, which is another looking for anomalies, but it's a security camera and you're a security guard. And if you don't know what the backrooms are, it is a online trend of people making videos and things where they seem to fall through a wall, a plane, whatever, into another haunting, scary plane of existence. It started on 4chan and then Reddit and then X and then TikTok. And some of the videos are very good. This is sort of it's like the Gen Z Blair Witch. This is their found
Yeah.
footage
Yeah.
idea. Um, so here we are with a man who is struggling with some internal conflict ideas, specifically his ex-girlfriend being pregnant and deciding what to do or what not to do. And he turns a corner in a subway and he is in that same corner. And all he can see is at exit zero. And there's information. I love the use of that, just this information wall.
I love it. Yeah. It's such a video
It's
game trope, but they write the way it's put into the movie. I was like, oh, that's smart. That is smart.
even as the video game trope, it works to just sort of be
Hmm.
like, this is something that you would see in real life. And it just kind of explains to him there's 8 levels. If you see an anomaly, turn around. If you don't see an anomaly, keep
Keep
going.
going.
And that
Yeah.
is sort of the setup for this psychological thriller. We probably will spoil it as we go on. So I don't know how
Hmm.
much there is to really. Well, I guess there's a lot of good. It's such more of a. We'll talk about it obviously, but there's so much more just like thought and interesting things in it that I'm way less worried about the story and more of just like the cool shit.
The way
Um,
you get there. Yeah.
yeah. So I think before we even talk about how did you find out about this movie, Terrence? How did this come across you?
Um, so I was aware of Observation Duty, like the game that Exit 8 was originally sort of an Exit 8, but I've never played it. And so I am gone down this rabbit hole of trying to find at least one international film a month to sort of watch. Is sort of like my thing to do, just to become more educated in film, if you will.
Right. Well, we're
And so
getting
I
so
saw this
bad at
one.
making movies, you have to.
We are terrible.
We're just getting so bad at it. Like,
Um, and so I saw this one, and I had put this on my radar, and I was, oh, that's a cool concept. And then it took me a minute for my brain to realize, like, wait a minute, that's a that's also the game, mainly because I've never seen a game to movie turnaround this quick. Like, I was like, wait, that can't be the same game because like were they already making it while the game was being in development? Like that, it just my brain was like, there's no way that those are the two same things. So once I was like, oh, this is that, I had to see it. And so I went in still not really playing the game, but very aware of the mechanics of it being the walking simulator and you basically trying to find anomalies. I walked out of this movie smiling from ear to ear because it was probably the first time that I've had a game to movie connection work as well as this worked. And they also Japanese folks managed to put in a story that I think everybody can connect to, but still definitely falls on some of the ideals that I know is very strong within them, which is about like, hey, family priorities, and specifically for them, because this happens with the Japanese folks, mind my own damn business. I'm going to put it in my own. So like a lot of their things is like, hey, that doesn't concern me. I'm not going to deal with it. And so this movie opens with like it feels like 155 men on a train and one woman and her baby. And this one guy just reaming her the riot act. Like, shut that baby up. This baby silent, shut that baby up.
Dude, also,
And
whoever
it,
that actor is, let's give him an award. I
yeah,
like jumped the
like I
way
was
he
like,
just starts
please
screaming at this
leave
woman.
that woman alone. But it's
Lord.
cool in that such a smart way to open up a film. And I was like, it almost made me to a point. I was like, please don't hardcore Henry this, but we keep it in first person, and we you get that reference.
Yeah.
But we have the earbuds and we don't hear anything. And like so we just see the scene and then we take the earbuds out. And oh, they're using sound, everything. This is being filmed amazingly. And he just looks at it. He watches that woman get berated for a long time. And even me as a I'm a dad now, so I was like, is someone gonna say something about this? And no one does. And it's
Terrence, as somebody who doesn't have a kid,
a
I feel like
human.
most people would
Most
be like,
men, any
someone,
male,
someone could
someone
be like,
should have gotten up, be
hey,
like,
man,
relax,
calm
dude, it's a
down.
kid. Right.
You are at a 25.
Bring that down to a negative
I
five.
have
You're
been
doing
on the
too much.
CTA red line with infinitely less people. And if
Right.
anyone yelled like that, everyone.
Yeah, like you're berating this woman and she's not even responding. She's just like trying to soothe her kid as much as she can.
Yeah,
So
she's
then you
also
get there.
trying to get the kid to be quiet.
She's
She's
not
like,
like
can you
she's like,
shut that kid
shut
up? And
up.
she's like, well,
Right.
she's not holding it at you like Simba and having it yell at you. Like,
So then he gets
oh,
off, and like we follow it in like almost a first person for a great deal. Like we're watching his viewpoint. I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this for an entire movie. But then they get to the point where basically the loop starts and they flip it around and say test both. They say test and then Lost Man. I was like, okay, you got me. And from that point on, it's such a weird movie in that it's the scares come from the terror of being like, which happens in the game of being have like you got so close and you have to reset and start from the beginning. That for me is where the fear comes in, like, oh my, the dread of like having to do this again. And then you sprinkle in the ideals of like, hey, fatherhood is frightening to me. Was I was I a good human in letting that woman get berated on that on the beginning of the train station?
when he has that line of just like, if I couldn't even like have the balls to defend this
To
woman and her
defend this
crying
woman,
baby, like, why
how can I be
should
a
I be
father?
a dad?
Yeah, like how
Like,
can I be a father? And I was like, wow, that is a very in-depth and something you don't get a heady sort of response from that, obviously from the game because it's just a walking simulator, but to add that into this in this layer of like, hey, is this purgatory? Is this hell? What is this that we're in? You sort of like, or just this question of like, I'm in this because I have to become a better man or human on the other side of this. All of that sort of starts playing into it. In addition to that, it's just some really great cinematography, some great shots, some great movement that's happening within this corridor. I will say, and this is the one thing that I think is just for me, and I think it happens in the game because I read up on a couple of things. But sometimes some of the scares or moments that are supposed to be for tension could be avoided. It's one of those ones where I'm like,
yes,
hey, you don't have to go look into that door. It works for the movie because you're seeing
no,
this version of yourself like in the thing, but you could. That's an anomaly. That door opening didn't happen. Go the other way, sir.
I think that's why, yeah, because that was my only issue too, was sometimes the anomaly was so painfully clear that I was like,
Why are you still
what,
standing
why are we here? Like,
right?
what the rule is. I
Yeah.
think that's why adding the kid and
Hmm.
him not being an anomaly and you sort of being like, oh,
Oh, right.
um,
Because when the cat comes, you're like, okay, now I'm confused as a viewer. Sometimes that may not be an anomaly.
right. I could be stuck here with other people or
Correct.
other, like, and it is, yeah. And I think you're right. I think this is a movie. I loved it. Also, um, it is such a, Birdman one shot. The impressiveness of just what they're doing is what almost kind of kept me in. And whenever we did hit a beat, it was always great because you start to almost catch yourself playing
Oh, I was doing it from the
the
start,
movie.
like looking at
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
And just like thinking of all the different things that it could do. I also kept being whenever like the flood comes, I was like, oh, is it also trying though to keep him here?
Right. Like,
Is
do we
there
want him to stay?
like
Do you
clearly
want
this
him to
is
replace the other man? Yeah.
it's very like Japanese horror video gamey too, where like Silent Hill 2
Hmm.
is such a movie video game. The movies are bad. Don't watch those. Don't do that.
They're terrible.
It's a bad
Yes.
idea. Play the game. Play the remake of Silent Hill 2 and pretend no one has ever tried to adapt it ever. Um, but that game is so heady and it is so like, oh, he's stuck in this town with three other people who all have this traumatic thing. And so the town is trying to make a monster for you, but it's making it for all four of you. And that's why some of these things are so weird.
Hmm.
And it isn't really something American horror movies or even American horror games do, where it is just sort of like, hey, you know what's really scary? The mind.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
And
I
it,
caught myself every now and then being like, come on, I want a cool jump scare or a weird monster. But then I was like, no, I don't. I of
no, I
course don't.
don't.
This is
Yeah.
awesome. I'm on this weird,
Yeah.
like, it really does kind of just make you realize how spoiled might be the wrong word, but how used to heavy exposition we are. And the
Entitled that
horror
we
beats.
expect everybody, you need to give all
Yeah.
of this to me. You need to feed all of this to me. Yeah. And
And
this
I just
one
kept being like, oh, I love that all we have. He never questions that he's in there. He
nope.
never won. He just sort of has this weird, like, okay,
Okay.
this is something else I
Right.
got to
It's like,
do. Like,
all right. Yeah.
fine.
Um,
Like,
it's once the boy gets added too, my brain was kind of like, this also just shows you how adults unfortunately don't pay attention enough to kids. And sometimes kids may
oh,
be able to pull out like when the other man, the walking man, uh clearly the kid is staring at the door, but he's so in it like, nope, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, and just ignores the kid and takes him around and it resets. And then the kid is actively trying to save him because he gets the false mirage of exit 8 and he's like, no, no,
but
no, no. And he pushes
I
the kid down
mean,
and scars his face. And I'm like, dude, this kid is trying everything to save
that
you.
that was also the most like stereotypical, like, nope. Like, I wouldn't go in that room.
Yeah.
The movie would be over because like the white guy's gonna go investigate it. Everyone else is like, nah, man. Because I was like, dude, you just saw the sign for 5 or 6 or 3 or whatever. You know that it's not right. We just saw it, but there's such a fun frustration in this movie of like seeing the other side of the concourse when it just says turn
It says
back,
turn around,
or
turn around.
the
Yeah.
I think I out loud made it like when he's just walking and it slowly zooms out and all of the lights are just in different
Like
places at
completely different. Yeah.
angles. And
Yeah.
it is such a moment where you're like, oh, we don't pay any attention to anything.
No, because
Because
it was funny because the light one, I was like, that is so blatant. I can see it, but if you're in it, you can I could probably see how you was like, I wasn't paying. I looked at I'm paying attention to
I looked at
everything else,
everything,
but I didn't look up.
which is also it's also why you're like, oh, it needs to have obvious ones. It needs to have
It
like
does.
whatever this demon room is probably just like some tired employee just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
they didn't see the lights. Okay, flood them then.
All right, fine.
Flood him.
Yeah,
Give him
like
something.
let's put it in his
He's
face.
gonna.
What can we do?
It's not even fun anymore. It's not even
Right.
like it's not even
Yeah.
enjoyable. He's just sitting. He's just gonna go around in a loop forever. So like, you know what? Here you go. Your wife is
Fine.
here now.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do
Um,
they do make you do a lot of those questions. When you first meet the kid, you are like, oh my God, is he seeing himself as a kid? So is he going to become the walking man? And when we have the walking man story, he talks to that woman who mentions that old suspect man. You're like, oh
right.
God, are we?
But then I love the talk that they have because then it gets to a point where you're like, well, is this his son? Like, what kind of how much inception of loop does this thing go? Because when he's like, look, I never met my father, I'm like, oh, does that mean he's
Same.
staying in this damn loop this whole time? Like, what is going on?
And they never
And
give
the
you a
fact that we
clear
never
answer.
really get it, and I'm okay with that. Like and usually that pisses me off, but I think the movie itself is so good, and the main conceit is I want to make this guy a better person than he was when this loop started. And it
Right.
does that. And so however we have to get there, whether we're playing with future, whether we're playing with a parallel, I don't care. that was the goal. So I'm okay with us not answering all of those questions.
No, I don't need to know. I did one at the end when the kid's like, I'm just going to eat cheese pizza when I get out of here. I was sort of like, I hope he
I
sees a little
wanted him
pizzeria
to
that the
like
kid's eating. I
somebody
want
pick it
everyone
up.
to be
Yeah.
okay.
Right. I was like, just get that man a slice of pizza,
I just want to see
please.
that. I just want to know that the kid's okay. But it is also very like mythology based to have a guide that's in the room that
Hmm.
you don't understand. Like I think a lot of the times, like in a lot of like Japanese myth or like even Ghost of
Oh yeah,
Tsushima
like a
has the little
nonverbal.
like has like the Shinobi fox that's like,
Yeah.
follow this fox, follow this. It's
Hmm.
Under the Silver Lake kind of plays with that when it's like, you know what you do when you see a coyote, right? You follow it. You know what
Correct.
you do here? You follow this whenever you're having these moments. This is the thing.
I also love the movie does I call it the Wizard of Oz piece of it, but like the stuff that was happening in your everyday life. Like when he was scrolling that phone, he saw that weird rat thing with the ear. And then that is what one of the options that came up in the loop. I'm like,
Oh,
yes,
that was
I
the
like that. Thank you.
grossest awesome thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them. I think these are what I don't want to spoil because some of them aren't fun, but my favorite one was the eyes on the
Hmm.
posters. That was
Yeah,
probably my
because
most
it's
just like
subtle, but it's
fun.
creepy. It's yeah, that is creepy. Yeah.
Even just that
Um,
first one when he turns around and the man's just behind him, you're like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Like didn't say a word, just sitting there smiling. I was like, oh God. Yeah. No, you know which one really freaked me out? And it's not nothing horrific about it. It was the woman when she shut down and then came back and her voice
Oh
was
no, that's
altered as she was
horrific.
saying
That's terrifying. Are you
it.
there's oh Terrence over here. Like there's nothing weird when middle conversation, the woman you're talking to just
Just
stops all
stops.
motion like she's a Westworld robot. But then when she turns back on, is screaming at such a high pitch it deafens you. What a normal occurrence in everyone else's day-to-day life. Yes, that was horrifying. It
Yeah.
was also another moment though where like the tension of it is I'm just like, dude, she hasn't said a word to you this whole time. She hasn't said a word.
You
Do
should be
not
going
fall in
back.
love. Don't fall in love
Yeah.
with the stripper. Turn around and run. You
Yeah.
big dumb idiot. Come on.
That,
Like,
there were three of them.
why are we
That was my
talking to her?
second one.
Why are we
That
talking to
door
this
one.
woman?
And the second the alarm started going off, I was like, hey guys, this has never happened before. You should turn around.
I do think the door, I don't think it would get me to keep going forward, but it is one of those moments where I think I would have been like, well, it
What's
hasn't
in
opened the whole
there?
time.
Right.
We
Like
gotta,
well, at least what's
obviously I'm
in
gonna turn
there.
around. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And they do a good job of it sort of being like, obviously, you can sit here forever and be like, is it purgatory? Is it a demon? Is it hell? Da, 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 da.
Hmm.
Very clearly, we're doing a purgatory. You're guilty and you're here until you figure it.
Until your
You're
penance is
just, you're,
sprung. Until you
you're
correct.
stuck. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we're doing a little bit of that. We're doing a little bit of like the
And because
culture of work and everything else in your
we
life.
saw the
And
walking man did not do or did not learn anything, he went the other way.
okay,
Right.
so here is my question. Because clearly, when we get to the Walking Man story, also, I love that whenever we do it, it just kind of, the camera just moves
And
to
then
the other
just
person.
flips. Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
So he has the same loop. So for the people who didn't see it and are listening to us, they go through the wall. Our first guy gets a man walking towards him. Eventually, we get that Walking Man story. We learn a little bit about him. We learn a little bit about why he may or may not be there. But he has a woman walking towards him. And then, like any good movie, that's going to have rules. We get to see what happens when you fail. He rounds a corner. There's a stairway up, and there's heavenly music playing, which couldn't be more like, don't do that. Don't
You
trust that.
should not
Oh,
go that
oh,
way.
the demon hallway that clearly you're not on level 8 or 7. You're on level
Yeah.
like 4,
Four. Like
and
you jump 4 levels. Yeah. I think it was a different
it
color palette too. I'm like, sir,
it was
nothing about
everything.
this.
It was the most. If you weren't paying any attention and you were that, and he's clearly been there a long time. He's like tired.
Yeah.
It is the most like cinematically like, oh, obviously that's not heaven. It's too clearly heaven.
Yeah.
It's
Correct.
now, if I was on exit 8 and they did that, I would be like, I don't know about this.
I
That's very
feel like this is yeah. And I just love that the boy, especially for the walking man, he was nonverbal. And that's also
that
important because I think it's he was nonverbal for the walking man, but he was verbal for the lost man. And I think that's done on purpose.
on
But for
purpose.
him,
Yeah.
but for him to be nonverbal for the walking man and it's actively trying to pull him down, and he's like, nah. And he looks at the boy for a moment after he scars his face up and he's like, yeah, sorry, kid.
I don't give a
I
shit.
I
Yeah.
don't care anymore. Yeah, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. So he runs up towards the light and then he's just walking the other
Yeah, he's just
direction.
stuck in the
So
loop.
it
Yeah,
seems as if, it, I guess, devours your
it
soul and
takes
you're
your
part of it.
soul in, and now you're part of the loop.
What happened to the soul here? What happened to the woman? What happened to
Right, because like she seemed to only
she
address
clearly
for
got it
him.
wrong first.
Yeah, yeah.
And my first thought was, I was like, oh no, where is she then?
What did
He just
she,
took her,
right?
he just took her
Like,
job.
what
Where
did
did she
she
go?
do?
Do you just become
Them,
part of it? Do you just
right?
become more and
Like
more and
she was there
more?
for him, and then now you are that person
And
for
now
everybody until
you're
someone
the
f's up, until someone does the wrong thing,
right.
and then you go off to wherever you're supposed to go to, and
I
then
mean,
they're
I think
stuck in
that's
that
clearly
purgatory
what
loop.
it is, but it's such a weird piece of purgatory to be like, oh, they're in hell now, and you are
You just got to
stuck with
work. You got to work.
you're in
Yeah,
no way out.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, which might be a circle of hell of just sort of like, oh no, you failed, but before we actually torture you forever, you get to be bored walking down this
You get
hallway
right.
forever. Like
Enjoy it.
it's yeah, sorry, it's that's how we go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was all great. And the movie is short, so at no point are you ever like, oh my
I
God,
never
is he
get
doing
bored.
this? Like,
It's
what are
90
we gonna do?
minutes. You're
Have the
in and
kid or
out.
not?
Right. Yeah. And it's a small, it's such a smart way to like, we're off to the races. Like, cool, kid or not, phone dies, crap, we're in it. And like, you just have to go through this. And for a moment, he's going through it like, well, what the hell's happening? First time he goes pious, and second time he goes pious, and he's like, okay, now what's happening? And it's not until the woman, his ex, shows up there that he's like, we as an audience, like, oh, this is all a test for him.
That was another great just directing moment because she's on, and even you as the audience are like, well, where's she calling from? And then when it does that rack focus and you see the subway like behind her,
Yeah.
the same hallway, you're like, no. Man, yeah,
Yeah.
no, there were so many like the use of the creativity in the movie to use like sound and have the baby crying in the locker and to
Hmm.
use lighting to kind of pull your focus and literal focus and perception to kind of have you sort of you start second guessing it too even
Everything.
when it
Yeah,
is
correct.
obvious. And I think that's the benefit of like not having that much exposition is that you are
Hmm.
sort of slowly like, well, I don't know, could a cell phone still call you? I don't. At no point did the rules say anything about that, but we do know that him taking photos to remember messes it up.
Misses up. And
So
yeah,
what do we trust and don't trust, and what do you risk?
and one of the great things for me that I was like, oh, this keeps happening. You are so up in your head as a viewer watching them that sometimes when they come around the corner and they look at the sign number, they don't show us the sign number first. They show us just their reaction, and their reaction doesn't give a read sometimes of like, did they succeed or did they fail? You're like, show me the sign. Like, show me the fucking sign. Where are we? And that's just a
Yeah,
great, it's just a great thing. It's like, oh, because you also as an audience are like, I don't know if they saw that. Like, they
yeah.
just
What
walked
are
through that
we?
one. Was there an anomaly? Did we miss one? It's great.
Yeah, I do kind of wish there had been one just for like rewatchability that isn't obvious to anybody, and he just kind of got there and was there, and you're like, what was wrong? I have to go back. Because the movie does sort
Yeah.
of always show the audience what it is.
What did it?
I
Right.
do really wish there was one where we all were like, "Oh, he did it."
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like I almost want there to be one where like I have to pause later and be like, "We count these
Where is
tiles."
this room? Yeah, like where
Okay.
is this? Yeah.
Yeah, and I it makes me appreciate everything that you can do with a movie when you're sort of trusting everyone to be on that page. And it's why we talked about this before we recorded. I'm very, very worried about this Backrooms movie A24 is making because I
Yeah.
feel like this is going to be the example where I'm like, see, we all understand. And as
Yeah.
I said earlier, I feel like the Backrooms movie is sort of like if we just called Saw Trapped the
Traps. Yeah.
movie. Like, why do
Yeah.
we need this? Like, here's what it is. And every trailer is like, here's what it is. And we
Yeah.
must defeat the thing. And it's like, there's something inherently fun about a lot of Japanese horror that's like, oh, no, no, the thing you have to defeat is like you. And
You.
it is like
Yeah.
the last thing we get in this. and it leaves you on this hang is like he walks down, he immediately chugs water, which I was like, has he been thirsty this whole time? I know he needed his asthma inhaler. Will the
Yeah, like
room,
it was one of
I
those
could
things. I
also
was
be
like,
like, would the
does he
room
have
let
to
you
pee?
die?
Does he have to pee at any point in time in this?
And
Yeah,
again, love that we don't have an answer. I love that he
yeah.
like gets his inhaler each time, and there's never a moment of like, oh no, if you just keep crawling, it'll be as if you don't need it.
You don't need it.
Don't
Yeah,
worry about it. Because
correct.
there was a part of me that's like, will it let you die?
Die
Will
down
it
here?
like
Right.
will it if it has you and if the whole
Yeah,
premise of this purgatory is
yeah.
learn or don't learn or whatever, will it just let you
Because
naturally
right,
expire?
and it's one of those things because for the first three rounds of this, maybe four, he's doing the inhaler off of just instinct of what he was always, and then he realized like when he lays out and kind of gives up, he said, "Well, hold on, I'm good.
I think we're set.
I don't need this. I think we're good. Well, like let's start this over again." I'm like, "Oh, cool." He just realized in this
Or
world that he
yeah,
doesn't need that anymore.
or are we in like a Pirates of the Caribbean 1 situation where he's like, I've been eating, but I'm still hungry, and I drink, but I'm still thirsty? Because he
Yeah,
chugs that water bottle
he
like it's
does.
gonna.
Yeah.
And then, we see him kind of question it. He looks back at the stairway going up. And then it is that weird moment of like, we do the phone call again. We get on the
Mhm.
train again. The guy yells at the woman again. And all we really get is him like turning, presumably to confront him
Presumably
this
to go
time.
to confront them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
he
presumably
kept the
he's,
earbuds off to hear more of it because we get to hear more of it on this time. Um, but presumably as an audience, we believe that he went to go confront that man
but
as he should.
aren't you still just sort of like, is this the anomaly?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I
How,
was like, is he
is
still
he
in
just,
the loop? Is he still in? Like, I felt like, because especially since we saw when he opened the door, him on the other side looking at this version of him, I was like, is this all just still like you're still just
I
in it?
know. And it's
Which
another
reminds
moment
me,
where I'm just like, awesome. Just let
yeah.
us go. Because it is that it's like an inception moment almost, where it's like, oh, is it
Mhm.
good? The disc gonna fall or not? And it's like, well, the point is, who cares? Is that
Right.
he's where he wants to be. So it is that weird moment of like the main thing that he's worried about is that he's like not helping this person. Now he's helping
Mhm.
this person, which we can assume means that he thinks he can be a father, even though I don't know that those two things necessarily
Not a
correlate
one to
perfectly.
one, but okay.
Oh, sure.
I would argue that he's more saying I'm a better human as opposed to
I'm a
being,
yeah.
yeah, like I'm a better
I at least
person.
no longer will just run away when I'm confronted
Correct.
with something.
Yeah.
But we just don't know. We just
Yeah.
don't know.
We don't.
There is
Yeah.
just
The
that
fact that it doesn't
unknown
give us
one.
a clear answer, I both loved, and I was like, oh, you sons of that's so
But
good.
like, what did you want for him to go to the hospital with
And
his
punch him in the face.
ex-girlfriend
Yeah.
and
And then
have some like
actually go
long
see. Yeah.
conversation
I don't
about
need to
like
see that.
pro-life and pro-choice?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's such a funny. It's such a good moment too, where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna leave the theater and assume everything works out for this
Everything
man.
is fine.
And for that kid who just rounds that corner and
And we never
vanishes.
see him again. Hope he got some pizza, because damn.
Well, there's so much we don't know because we hear about this old man who's kind of sus. And so you
Yeah.
are like, well, is this him as a kid? And what we're supposed to assume now is that he's going to grow up and be some old. Do you age in here? Do you like what do you do?
Well, you don't really get a sense of time because when we come back out, he gets a call from her and she's like, I'm still at the hospital. So you're like, well, now
It is as if
yeah,
it's
as
as
if he
if
was
he
just
gets to redo the moment. That it's not that
correct.
he took a wrong step. It's that there's
Right.
some
You
sort
just
of
start back over.
Stephen King, Derry,
Yeah.
Jacob's Ladder
Yeah.
situation
You get to
that
replay
this
that part.
entity saw him do that and was like, "You're in here now." And then he
Yeah.
was like, "We're gonna put you
Yeah.
Galaxy
And
Quest
it's
30 seconds
what
before your
it's
mistake."
correct. Because what it seems like when we see him at the beginning of the movie, he's been ignoring her calls. It seems like now he took the call before he got on the
Right?
train, which
Yeah,
is where the timing still lines up where she's still at the hospital.
he's already fixed it. Yeah,
Right.
he's
Yeah.
already more attuned, uh, which is so interesting. I want to
Yeah.
know all the. It is yeah. It posits so many things that I don't want answers to. Where I'm like, yeah, are we just to assume that this walking man is now just missing in
He's
Japan?
just
That
in there.
there's like
I just
whatever he was
every time
supposed
they
to do or
came
not.
around the
Yeah,
corner and he was just standing like he was just standing there. I'm like, Man,
That
that's
was the
rough.
creepiest part of it, is when
Yeah.
he was just standing there like an NPC,
Yeah.
like loaded up. That was maybe the most where I was like, oh, so
Oh,
is he's gonna see you get to the seven and then he's gonna
and then
turn
just start,
around
and
and
then just
walk
go
the other
back to the
way?
way. Yeah.
That to me was the most like haunting, just like, oh
Hmm.
God, like
Like you're just stuck in this like
that and the
comatose
kid
body, and
crying in
he's,
the locker were my two like, no, I don't want to do
and
that.
then
I
him
don't
closing
want,
the locker.
don't.
I was like, oh God, no,
He looks in there and closes it, and you are just sort of
not
like,
today.
oh no. I don't want to know what was in there, but I don't think it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie, what a treat. And it is funny that that is now going to be the standard when we get to A24's Americanized internet the movie.
Whatever.
Like
Yeah. Yes.
it's
Viral sensations, the film.
it's a shame, and I'm sure we'll do it because I will want to talk about it. But it
Yeah.
really just to me is like you're sucking all the fun out of these stupid videos that just drop you media res somewhere and are like, I don't know, man, weird
I don't
shit.
know. I have no,
It's
it's some
weird
crazy stuff happening. Yeah.
to be like, I come here every week. Is like one, why?
Why? Yeah.
No one's been that curious.
At some point, you're going to be like, I should probably stop this. Like, if I keep getting that,
Even in
I'm done.
even in Jason X, they were like, well, eventually we closed Camp Crystal Lake. And it's like, oh, in the stupid movie where we posit how Jason could live in space, we were still smart enough to be like, well, one day they figured it out. The murder's over there. So yeah. Come on
Yeah.
now.
Uh,
Eventually, you know. We'll
I also
see. It
think
might be amazing,
that
but
in addition, this is going to cause gaming properties to have to step up their level. Like, if you were a game, this
yeah.
kind of changes the way that game movies. Because look, the concept is very simple for this game. It's like you get stuck in this loop and you're in a walking subway over and over and over again. But to add this layer of like a story, it does the thing that we said Mario did not do in the last one. We're like, you can take the concept of what you have, the bones are there, but intertwine a story into it. And I think this is the perfect sort of marriage of the concept of the true game, whatever symbolism and story you want to put together, and it marriages. And you played the game and cared about the game enough. It's like, hey, we're still going to put these. It's weird to say Easter eggs for this movie because the whole movie is fucking Easter eggs,
Right. No, they're not
anomalies. But
really
like,
Easter eggs. It's more like eggs.
yes, um, but like you're trying to find all of these things where games like the Last of Us is like a 1-to-1. It's good. I love Last of Us, but like the prestige of gaming is starting to change, and I think we can't get away with some of the years of Resident Evil that we got away with, the Tomb Raiders that we got away with, or the Street Fighters and Mortal Kombat that we got away with. The levels change. So Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter coming out this
No,
year,
we didn't get away with the Street Fighters then. I like some of these examples. I'm like, those didn't work
we didn't get away
when
with them at
when
that
they
point. Yeah.
came out.
Sorry. Sorry, Jean-Claude, that did not work.
Should have taken. Did you know he was going to be Johnny Cage? And then he was like, I already did Street Fighter. And they were like, but we based Johnny
No,
Cage off you. And he was like, that's a shame.
that's too bad.
Because Midway also didn't want to make that movie. The head of Midway at the time was like, it won't.
This is not going to work.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's hilarious because that movie is awesome.
Uh,
But
yeah.
it is it is the funny thing that we get into a lot of the like what makes a good adaptation and like why is the movie relevant? And I think this is an evergreen relevance movie of just sort of like the themes are kind of omnipresent of what we're doing
Mhm.
and are we doing it right? I think it's the first time maybe that we've talked about something that's adapted strictly from a mechanic. We're not really adapting we
The,
are adapting the
the
game, but to your point, we're adding all these story layers and all this, and we
right.
talk about a lot with Marvel of like, well, they figured out what made Iron Man work, and then they kind of retooled it for a movie.
Hmm.
And it's very interesting as we get into more and more video game adaptations because it's something I talked about with Mario, where I was like, there's not a lot of story in the first Mario, and the story that's there is weird. It's about how
Hmm.
Bowser turned all the people into toads and bricks and
Toads.
Goombas. It's
Yeah.
bizarre. Um, but then there are, and like even like Zelda or Kirby, or there's a lot of things where I'm like, this game is fun because it's fun.
Right.
This is the first time where it literally was like, oh, it's a walking simulator. we can replicate the fun of you walking by kind of making you look for anomalies too.
Hmm.
You're going to sort of play
You'll
while
play
you're
along with it.
watching.
Right.
And it is interesting when you start kind of thinking about like, well, how do you even do that with other games? How do you replicate the fun of
Certain
going
games.
really fast in Sonic the
Yeah.
Hedgehog and having these, or like indie games like Shovel Knight, or a game like fuck it, Tetris. How do you
Right.
take what makes Tetris fun? I know someone tried was thinking about doing it once and that went away,
And yeah.
but like,
And applying that to, I mean, it's why some games are almost like difficult to make. Like the BioShocks has been in perpetuity forever because it's hard to recreate. That game is very fun to play, and it's a rich story to
and
it,
it
but it's
but
very
the
hard
entire
to
story is told to you through videos that you
correct
pick, or
with
videos,
radio clips
audio
and
diaries
yeah,
that you pick up.
yeah,
You
yeah,
still don't talk in that game.
correct.
You as a character have no agency until you
Mhm.
figure out why you have agency. And
Right,
that's such a good twist in a video game. So like, would
right.
you kindly, and you're just like, oh my God, I've just been playing this game
I've
because that's,
been
it
as
turns out this is my like winter soldier call phrase. I don't know how you do that in a movie and have
seeing
the same like,
residents.
oh my God, yeah, or
Right.
Metal Gear Solid with Psycho Mantis, where he starts like manipulating your controller and reading your memory
Hmm.
card, and that's something that made that villain and that character awesome. Without it,
Hmm.
he's just a weird guy in a gas mask who maybe reads your mind.
Correct.
It's not really as fun.
No.
I don't know how you do, and maybe fucking the way technology is now, maybe somebody will be like, actually, now we connected it to your Netflix, and he's going to say
Right.
something different whenever. I don't fucking know. But
Yeah.
it is that weird thing of like, how do you adapt what makes a video game awesome? How do you even take
Hmm.
Pokemon, a game about connecting and trading with friends and building a team and getting together, and then be like, Michael Vick the movie?
Yeah, it's a weird thing because I think Hollywood is so quick to just like let's do a one-to-one. And sometimes instead of like, hey, we didn't think about sort of the heartbeat of this
No,
property.
we just saw money.
Let's pair exactly like let's pare this down and then like let's go with what the heartbeat says as opposed to like, hey, let's just do it. Money, we like money. Money is fun.
It's what D&D did really well, is they took all the things that
That's
made
another one.
D&D
Yeah.
fun, and it's ironically the thing that Sonic kind of did well, where they were like, we figured out the thing that works, and then we put what works into a different type of world.
Correct.
We baked it over here, and we did it this way. Um,
And it
it's
worked
what
well
that'll
enough for them that it's allowed them to get closer to the way that
we're
most people sort of yeah, we're slow
slowly,
walking,
yeah.
which is weird for Sonic, but we're slow walking the dog to get to what Sonic actually
They
appears to
keep
be.
working, man. I keep loving them.
They
And
do.
I was the first one of the first one to be like, all animated, get me out of the human world. And I'm like, no, shit, this is
I don't
great.
know. She's
This
kind of
is,
cool. Yeah.
we can stay here as long as we want. Yeah, it's the weird thing of like if they ever bought a book that was like a choose your own adventure, and it's like, how do you do that in a movie? And I know
Exactly.
that it's another thing Netflix tried to do, right?
They've been
Remember those?
trying to do the
Do they still make those where it's like, do you want to go
I
left or
don't
right? And
think
you click the
so.
remote.
I don't think they do anymore. And I know the Black Mirror Bandersnatch one got I think it's
That's it,
removed. It's
Bandersnatch.
off
Thank you.
the
Yeah,
yeah. I don't
really.
think it's on there anymore.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. But like, yeah, they don't make those anymore, which I think there's a I feel like there is a world for those, but you have to put in a lot of work because you're gonna have to do a lot of spidering to get everything to do
It's
what everybody wants to do.
it's funny how those things flip, and then we'll do a little box. The box office stuff is not too big to talk about, but we'll do it anyways. It's funny how that happens. It reminds me of like Heavy Rain when they made that game, and they were like, "It's a movie, but a video game," and everyone was like, but I want to play a video game."
Yeah. Like I
And then Netflix was like, "Bandersnatch, guys, it's a movie, but a game." And they're like, "But I want to watch a
but
movie."
I just like to watch that's what
Like,
makes Black
I
Mirror
don't,
good. I like to watch
but I want
this.
to. And I love Heavy Rain, and I like Bandersnatch. I just think it's very funny whenever they're like, "Hey guys, we know you love this medium.
Hear me
What
out.
if, hear me out, I know how much you guys love songs, but what if this time you played the piano?" And you're like, I don't want to do that.
I
Like,
don't. I don't. And I really like that.
No.
I don't want to crap on Heavy Rain. I really like that, but it's like,
Heavy Rain is great, but it is very, very, very much the like, we really wanted to make a movie, but we're a video game company
right. So
here.
here,
But it's also, it's really less, it is more of a like, I like this, but I'm never gonna, it's an experience. I did it.
it's a
I got the right
one-time
ending.
thing,
Yeah.
right? I was like, I loved it in the moment, but it's something that I will say, hey, Heavy Rain was a good time, but I have no interest to ever put that back on
I
in
don't think
my.
I thought about it until I made this analogy. But yeah, it's an interesting box office to talk about with Exit 8 because here's what's awesome about this specific weekend. There are three super small independent movies that have made it into the top 10 with Faces of Death, this
Faces of
movie,
Death,
and The
yeah,
Great Awakening. This is great. That's fun, cool news. I know there's
that
not
is,
that much out, but it is still fair.
yeah.
The Mario movie could probably be in an eight of those slots in and of itself.
And
But
it's fascinating because I think Tuscany is a new entry and it's like fourth.
yeah,
So it's like that says a lot.
yeah, it is a very strange thing to watch as we constantly are like, are the theaters dying or are we ever? I don't know what's happening anymore because it
No,
feels like they are, but then we have like, let's see here, 14, it made $1.4 million on 495 screens,
that's
which is
impressive.
roughly $2,828 per theater, which is really good. And if you
That's
look at it's
really
like
good.
internationally, it's at 40 million.
Yeah.
Um, which I think this is an interesting case too of like you strike while the iron's hot. Because
They
if you
already
read
like
about,
they've already made their money. So like
yeah,
them going to the US, they're like, we've already made the money and they've already got to deal with Apple to like, hey, this is
we
going to go to Apple
basically
with
just want to
Apple.
be like, hey, on A24,
We got some
you are
good
going to be
stuff.
mad.
Right. Right. It's like we're gonna get in front of you because we're gonna piss you off real fast.
But I think this is also a good example, and this is my point with the Backrooms, and it's the last time I'll talk about it until the movie comes out, probably. Calling it the Backrooms is sort of cutting off at the knees what could be a like a new found footage horror movie
Hmm.
subgenre.
Yeah.
This is a movie of like, hey, we're in a liminal space in the back rooms, and we don't need to be like, have you guys been on Reddit lately? Have you guys? Um, so it is kind of, I think, good that it's getting ahead of that before we really have then the vernacular of like of
Before it
this.
becomes a part of like the almost like a genre of film, so to
Can
speak.
you
Yeah.
make because you know if the movie does well or not, half of these studio executives are going to be
Are
like,
gonna start
"Oh,
green lighting left and right.
you
Yeah.
want to make a backroom movie, but the Backrooms is already out and it's called the Backrooms. How are you going to make another one?
Yeah.
It should just be the Backrooms 5."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Or
uh,
Backrooms colon something.
right. Like it'll just be like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Either way, that's really good. It's got a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and 82 from the audience. The
Yeah.
game, and this was my like strike while the iron's hot that came out in 2023 of around like 2 million downloads, I think, on Steam. 2024 had its console launch. It won the Japan Game Awards. It was built around the idea that it should be cheap and fast to make. That was the
Yeah.
concept the company went into with. And I think that's another like, yeah, that's part of why this was such a quick adaptation is like, I don't know how they made the movie. I'm sure there was some CGI, but a part of you is like, oh yeah, you could have done this with five flats and really
And
precise
moved.
directing.
Yeah. Like your camera. Yeah. You just like map out your shots before you go in and like we're gonna knock this out. Yeah, it's funny because to your point, the gamer was working on something that actually still hasn't come out. It was something that he was working on that he said this is just taking forever and so long that he took a side project and did Exit 8, blew up, and still has not finished the main project. He's like, this is just taking too long. The film, they filmed it like the end of 24. They were done by the top of 25 and was like, we're out, we're doing it, and we're here. And I'm like, that's a quick turn. Well, I don't see a world where we'll ever see a game to film turnaround like this ever.
Oh no.
Unless they are actually making the film at the same time that they're making the game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not even know what an example that they could have done that with is. Like I can't think of anything that's that. simple and popular and good all at the same time of just like,
Right.
oh, great, three mechanics and 90 minutes and you can go.
Go. Yeah.
But it is also something I hope they don't try to replicate where they're like I feel like that started to happen with comic book movies where they're like, we're going to write this comic and
Hmm.
then they're going to buy the film right. So that's like, well, hang on, that's not right. That's,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
know how hard it is to make a comic book? But that is our show, everyone. Thank you so much. Leave a review and a comment. You can follow the show at Hollywood ADI. It has the YouTube page. Hollywood already did it, where Terrence does his trailer reactions and TV show reviews. I'm at, as always, Blake. Terrence is at Terrence Tatum, and we will see everybody next time.
Later.